Namaste and good afternoon, friends. Welcome to our 14th annual event. And a big thank you to more than 1,400 people who are attending all the way from Australia, from India, from UK, Canada, and many locations within the United States. My name is Lalit Sudan. As the new volunteer president of Visio-Aid USA, it is my pleasure to work alongside more than 140 volunteers, all uncompensated, and team members in India to enable, educate, and empower the visually impaired so they can lead happy, productive, and independent lives. Today, once again, like usual, we're gathered here to experience yet another magnificent production by the renowned choreographer, Shri Muralidharanji, the Seven Selfless Sovereigns, put on by an all-volunteer team. Friends, the show is only 2.5 hours long, but believe me when I tell you that it has been working since May. The dancers, the directors, the videographers, many people have been working since May, every weekend to put on this show. So thank you very much for their hard work and their dedication. It will be a great show today. Folks, in the last year, we have made much progress toward our goals, many accomplishments, and they are the result of hard work of a lot of people. Now, I'm not going to go into detail because we'll be covering them as the show goes on, but anywhere from a lot of people getting diplomas, the digital accessibility team winning awards, revenue generating awards. We have formed partnerships with LV Prasad and the Shroff, and we are strengthening our relationships with our old partnerships, Aravind and many others. We have to face COVID, and it did slow down our progress, but we were rapidly able to respond and get back with our online courses. And so we're back in business. And what's more, we were able to help the needy families provide food for several weeks to sustain them. And we have today also with us the instructors of the Coursera course, legendary Dr. Charles Severance. And we have also in the audience today, the founder and the CEO of EDX, Dr. Anant Agarwal. So very welcome for you to join us. Folks, much more needs to be done as time goes on. In the coming year, we plan to extend our capabilities for early blindness intervention and provide additional capabilities which are affordable and more assistive to our visually impaired, which can help them in their education, in their daily lives, in their safety, and almost all aspects that they plan to do. As a matter of fact, our founder Ram will be making an announcement towards that end. But none of this would be possible, friends, without your contributions and your dedication. Moreover, none of this would be possible without the benevolence of many families like the Palakurtis, the Srinivasans, the Guptas, the Saigals, the Sharmas, the Kotas, and the Mishras. So they have enabled for us to open centers and made possible many of our innovative programs. I'm happy to inform you today that JIT and Sonia Saxena have also joined us as grant sponsors for our cause today. JIT is a serial entrepreneur, and I'm sure many of you know him. His foundation, the Saxena Family Foundation, has generously going to support us, and we are very thankful for that. And it's my pleasure to tell you that Desh and Jayashri Deshpande are also in the audience today. Now, Jayashri and Desh don't need any introduction. Besides being the innovator and the high technology pioneer in many aspects, Desh and Jayashri are also the force behind the successful implementation of Akshaya Patra, which is feeding 1.7 million children today in India. So thank you, Desh and Jashri, for joining us. It's a matter of pride for us that our founder, Ram and Revati, are with us today, and also our respected chairman of the board, Mr. Puran Dangji, is with us today. Ram, as you all know or may not know, is the winner of the prestigious Harvard Public Service Award, and Revati was the winner of the New England Woman of the Year 2019. Folks, much more needs to be done. We are making a lot of progress, but with your help, we'll be doing many more programs in the coming years. Thank you very much for your help. Now I'll invite Puran Dangji to introduce our chief guest for today, Dr. Ghosh. Puranji, it's all yours. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my great honor to introduce Dr. Professor Partha Ghosh, my dear friend, as our keynote speaker and chief guest. Dr. Ghosh is a world-renowned thought leader and inspirer in various fields: technology, business, philosophy, and philanthropy. He is known as a modern Renaissance man. He is an outstanding consultant, having given advice to many multinational companies. Internationally, he has delivered about 200 keynote addresses on various business, educational, and leadership forums. He is the founder and chairman of the Boston Pledge, and he helps the poor who are at the bottom of the pyramid. He is involved in multiple initiatives around the world. With his support, his alma mater and my alma mater, IIT Kharagpur, is establishing the Partha Ghosh Leadership Academy on the campus in his honor. The academy integrates the Eastern and Western wisdom. Dr. Ghosh obtained his advanced graduate degrees from MIT and is a professor of practice at the MIT Sloan School and at the Tufts University. Dr. Ghosh is a devoted exponent of Swami Vivekananda's teachings and spreads his message all around the world. On my personal level, it is again my great honor to present to you Dr. Professor Partha Ghosh.
Thank you, Puranjay. Thanks to all of you from the bottom of my heart for giving me this great opportunity to share my thoughts on this auspicious event celebrating the 14th anniversary of Visio-Aid. And thank you to Mr. Lalit Sudan for taking the leadership, obviously, which I'm sure would be a very meaningful, thoughtful, and joyous journey forward. First, I'd like to congratulate the leadership of Visio-Aid, its sponsors, its supporters, and all the people that must have worked tirelessly to power the engine of this movement in serving the people who are disadvantaged of normal eyesight. Most importantly, on behalf of Visio-Aid, if you may permit me, I would like to thank you with a folded hand, those individuals the organization has served and is serving, because they have helped us to come together to unlocking and testing the goodness in our hearts. I personally see the Visio-Aid movement is aiding us to expand our vision and triggering our passion to help bring dignity and gracefulness in our society. It is indeed a mutual process where we aid each other. We do not empower. We help each other to uncover our inner power and inner conscience. So congratulations to Visio-Aid for taking this forward, this process forward. From my childhood days, growing up in Calcutta under the extended shadows of people like Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, Tagore, Aurobindo, and many others, including Mother Teresa. One common message that got embedded in my heart, in my mind, that God offers each other individually special gifts to contribute to the harmony of nature. The gifts are, however, never 360-degree complete, perhaps 270 degrees, but the remaining 90 degrees sometimes more obvious, such as eyesight, sometimes less obvious, we develop or overcome with the support of other individuals. I'm sure many individuals have contributed to my development to shape my humble role in society. And I think it is important for all of us to help others with eyesight or without to extend the collective vision of our society. Our nation is in urgent need of this approach, not bound by state boundaries or national boundaries similar to organizations created by Vivekananda, Aurobindo, and Mother Teresa, which were all borderless and spread all over the world. So I'm glad Visio-Aid is in that mission, and I hope we will all be able to take it forward with that kind of courage, that kind of commitment, and most importantly, that kind of compassion. So our commitment should be to aiding the vision of people, uncovering those special gifts within. By the way, the central core of what Dang Puranji mentioned, that we believe in the Boston Pledge movement, is exactly that. How do we celebrate the core gift that God has given to people, whether we are the people who are serving or the people that are being served? But we serve each other. We do not empower. I believe that we help each other to uncover, getting to know each other. Finally, we all know that when we want to imagine something out of the box, we indeed close our eyes to explore the unknown, as the unknown often is beyond our normal vision. So individuals who are visually disadvantaged may not be the most appropriate term. Perhaps we should consider a new term. The people who do not have normal eyesight may indeed have some special senses, which we do not know, but they are at work with them, which help them to be more visionary, more imaginative, more creative, more poetic, if not more prophetic. Perhaps they could aid us to develop these traits much needed in today's society. So, as much as we feel they are disadvantaged, they might have some gifts which we do not have. So, it is a mutual process of contribution as opposed to empowering, is a mutual process of powering each other. Then may I request who are responsible to drive the forward the Visio-Aid organization, view the mission to cultivate those inner gifts, in the process perhaps not use the term visually challenged or visually disadvantaged. They are not. Maybe the word is optically challenged, visually gifted. After all, one of the famous poets, which many of you may be familiar in Great Britain, John Milton, in 1600s, during the time of the Glorious Revolution, became blind. At that time, he was only in his early 50s. It was 1660. And after that, he wrote many, many poems for which he really became famous. And in one of his sonnets, in his Ode to Blindness, he wrote a very touching line, which I always remember, which I read when I was 10 years old. They also serve who stand and wait. So the people in the Visio-Aid ecosystem, the instructors, the people that we are serving, the supporters, the sponsors, I personally feel that we are all standing and waiting to apply what God has given us, the gifts that God has given us. It is our responsibility that we help each other to firstly uncover those gifts and then help them to apply those gifts and then celebrate the greatness of society. So I think the people that we are serving, they're very, very important to us. They are helping us. They are aiding us to develop our vision of what we could become. And in the process, we have to ensure we uncover the greatness of society, particularly India. As we heard, India is particularly challenged in terms of its eyesight capacity, which is because of nutrition. I will not get into it, but what is important for such movements to succeed, that we have to remember in terms of Human Development Index, which is developed by United Nations, India is behind 130 countries when 180 countries are ranked. So we have a long, long way to go. So indeed, I hope Visio-Aid, the Boston Pledge, and many other such organizations will harmonize with each other, work with each other to make it happen. And that challenge is very serious because you have to keep in mind 10 years ago, the Human Development Index of India was 127. So we are not inching upwards, we are inching downwards. So we have to make a very special effort to first make sure that we do not continue to inch downwards any farther. We hold it and then create the positive trajectory with the hope 10 or 15 years from now, we will find a spot where each and every individual in the country, with COVID or no COVID, with eyesight or no eyesight, whether they are at the base of the pyramid or the top of the pyramid, will find significantly more social meaning, emotional meaning, and create a social IQ of the nation, which the world would celebrate. You know, in one of the poetries of Tagore, I'll first say it in Bengali and then I'll translate for English. He used to say, Bharat abar jagata sabhay shreshto asana labhe. In other words, he said, India again in the great assembly of nations will find its prestigious position. That was the dream 100 years ago. It's still a dream. But I think we have to make such efforts like Visio-Aid to make such dreams come together. It'll be a long journey. India is nowhere closer to become superpower. We often hear those terms. India has to become a power which could empower each other. And in the process, when 1.4 billion people could find its meaning, the Visio-Aid would declare that it continues to aid the vision, not only of the people without eyesights, but people who need the vision to dream big and do big things. With that, I'd like to thank you and once again congratulate you for this wonderful movement that you have put in place. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Partha Ghosh, for that inspiring and moving speech. I'm sure the audience is as deeply touched as I am. I love the word visually gifted and will be introducing it in my parlance for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for that suggestion as well. It's a beautiful suggestion. Thank you for taking time to join us today and for your beautiful message.
Thank you.
Friends, now I have the pleasure of introducing a very exciting announcement. One of the foundational programs in Visio-Aid is our training on mobile technologies. This is where we bring blind and vision impaired students into our centers. By the end of this year, we will be running Visio-Aid programs in 20 locations in India. Each of those locations, training in mobile technologies and smartphones has been a foundational program for us. There's a high impact and high transformation which occurs. One of the biggest challenges in this is the cost of smartphones. A lot of our people are very poor. They come from rural areas. They cannot afford smartphones. So even though we were able to give training, we weren't able to give them on smartphones. And so this year, we are very excited to introduce a new program brought to us by a very generous philanthropic couple who join us from Kansas today. Treva and Balbir Mathur are here with us. I'll just say a few words of introduction to Treva and Balbir, and I would not do justice to everything they have accomplished. But Treva and Balbir have spent more than 50 years of their life in service to to the underprivileged and impoverished communities. They take a long-term, 1,000-year view on things. And Balbirji, in his conversation with me, has said they often look for that trim tab in a ship. So if you want to change the direction of a ship, you look for the trim tab, which in turn changes the rudder, which in turn changes the ship. So they look for those small actions which can have huge, enormous impact. And in addition to planting millions of trees around the world through Trees for Life and impacting millions of teachers through Teach for Life, now Balbir and Treva are joining hands with Visio-Aid through the Trees for Life Foundation to work with us on the smartphone program. They have generously pledged $100,000 as a matching gift. A smartphone costs about $100. And if we raise enough money for 1,000 smartphones today, they will match it equally. So every donation of $100 or in any amount leading towards $100 will be doubled by Balbir Mathurji and his team, who we see here on the screen today. And Balbir and Treva tend to keep a low profile. They often call themselves servants of servants. They don't like making public appearances and statements. At my request, they kindly agreed to come on the event because this was such a momentous occasion and a big announcement. So I requested Balbirji to say a couple of words, so that we can all get to know him. Balbirji, kindly say a few words.
Can you unmute yourself?
Go ahead. Okay. Are we unmuted? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Treva and I are very honored to be a part of this assemblage. It's a great honor. We provide this honorarium to the blind children, visually impaired, visually gifted. And it is from our heart. We do this. And we do it as an act of service in all our humility. And we hope that this trim tab will open the ship where we can inspire people all over India or all the Indians in the foreign countries to provide one cell phone to each blind child or adult in India. If India can do it, many other countries can do it. So this day to day could be the trim tab opening a door where sight may be provided, not just cell phones, but sight may be provided to all the blind people or all the blind children of our world. Sorry to use the word blind, but that's a word that's understood and I use it. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and we hope to be able to serve you more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Balbir and Treva, for joining us and being here with us on this very happy event and occasion. We are now going to play a short message from Simi Dala on behalf of Trees for Life. This is the movement which Balbir and Treva had started. And we'll hear from a couple of visually impaired students about why a smartphone is important for them. So let's hear that.
Hi, I'm Simi Dala, the president for Trees for Life. I'm delighted to share with you how we can join hands together to help Visio-Aid provide 2,000 smartphones to the visually impaired in India. Experts say that 90% of our learning is visual. Now just try to imagine the challenges a visually impaired child faces throughout their life. From the beginning, they're at a disadvantage of 90%. Mothers are our first teachers, but I can't imagine if I had a visually impaired child, how I would help them. Fortunately, tech companies have poured millions of dollars into creating a smartphone that can practically be the eyes for these children. It's like having a sighted assistant by their side 24/7. Now, this is something even their mom couldn't do for them. All this is possible with a smartphone that costs $100. That's what it costs for us to take our families out for a casual meal. Today, I'm happy to announce a matching grant from Trees for Life. For every $100 you give for a smartphone, we will match that, doubling the impact of your gift for up to 1,000 cell phones, with a grand total of 2,000 cell phones. You're not just giving a cell phone tonight. You're giving a personal assistant to 2,000 children. What an honor to be on this journey together.
I am visually impaired. Why is a smartphone important to me?
Life before a smartphone was totally different. It was very limited.
I used to face difficulty in reading books. I did not have any separate recorder or I was not aware of any screen reader.
Then came the smartphone. It transformed my world.
I used my phone as a window to the world, be it email, social media, or learning.
For example, if I need to walk to the nearest grocery store, so all I would need to do is click here and search for my location. It already shows up some suggestions, so whatever store I need to search for, all I need to do is I enter that, I hit search, and I hit the walk button.
I use the text-to-speech feature on smartphones to convert all text, whether it is email or books, to speech, so that I can access this information easily for learning or for doing my day-to-day work.
I installed applications like Ola, Uber, learned how to use it, and became independent.
My smartphone can also help me identify currency.
என் பெயர் என் கண்ணன். நான் பூரண்டவல்லி பார்வையற்றோர் பள்ளியில் 11ஆம் வகுப்பு படிக்கிறேன். விஷன்-எய்ட் என்ற நிறுவனம் எங்களுக்கு வழங்கிய ஸ்மார்ட் ஃபோன் என் படிப்பிற்கு மிகவும் பயனுள்ளதாக இருக்கிறது. அதனால் நான் விஷன்-எய்டுக்கு மிகவும் கடமைப்பட்டுள்ளேன். நன்றி.
I also use my smartphone for pursuing online courses on an app called Khan Academy. So here's a quick demonstration of the home page. I enjoy taking courses on Khan Academy.
I often use the Be My Eyes app so I can have someone help me understand my surroundings as well as identify things for me.
It is one device without which I can't imagine my life. It is the one thing I rely on the most.
Visio-Aid thanks the Trees for Life Foundation for their smartphone matching grant. Every $100 donation you make to Visio-Aid will provide for one smartphone, and the Trees for Life Foundation will donate another smartphone, doubling your impact. Help us provide smartphones and training to underprivileged visually impaired students who cannot afford to acquire their own smartphone. Donations are welcome at www.visionaid.org.
You're not just giving a cell phone tonight. You're giving a personal assistant to 2,000 children. What an honor to be on this journey together.
Thank you so much, Balbir Mathurji, Trevor, Simi, Jeffrey, and Scott for being with us here today. And thank you, Balbirji, for your inspiring message and kind offer to match 1,000 smartphone donations. We warmly invite all our attendees to generously support the smartphone matching campaign today and help us raise funds for this vital program. You can make your pledges in the chat window or just go online to www.visionaid.org and make your contribution now to have your donation doubled.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining Visio-Aid's fundraising event tonight. Here are a few important announcements for all of you. We are grateful to many artists from the Boston area who have donated their works of art to Visio-Aid. They're all up for a silent auction. We thank the generous artists for their donation, and these wonderful paintings are looking for a loving home. And that loving home could be yours. We're also offering a classy BMW bike for the silent auction. And thanks to Pranav Gill of Herb Chambers, BMW of Sudbury. Please visit our online silent auction website to bid on these offerings. The link is being shared with you all in the Zoom chat below. Also, many area restaurants are offering their food vouchers for sale. And these restaurants are Holi, Madras Grill, Maharaja, Nirvana, Royal India Bistro, Gourmet India, and the Treasury. We thank them all for their support and engagement. Please visit our website and buy these food vouchers, help our local businesses, and enjoy sumptuous meals at these fine restaurants. There's no expiration date for these vouchers. And also do remember that tonight, Mr. Balbir Mathur and Tree of Life have pledged to match funds, as you just heard, for up to $100,000 that we raise in the next 24 hours. So please, help us make the most of this matching offer. Your donations will double their value. With these funds, we will give smartphones to the visually impaired, the visually gifted. And you just saw a short video as to how these smartphones impact them. It will be life-changing for these visually gifted people. To make a pledge, just enter your name, your email address, and amount in the Zoom chat box, and our volunteers will reach out to you. So thank you for that help and support. और आपके बिना, आपके support के बिना, आपकी help के बिना, ये कुछ भी संभव नहीं है. तो अगर आप reach out to us and help and support, तो आज का जो donation match होगा, we can achieve that. We will begin the Seven Selfless Sovereigns, our main production tonight, after this brief film about Visio-Aid. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And thank you for joining today. Take care.
We had to face many difficulties due to lack of financial also. That's why it is very helpful for us, the collaboration of the Visio-Aid USA, and we expect more support in future also to facilitate more and more visually impaired persons. The diploma in computer application, the visually impaired persons, those who are adult more than 15 years old, they can learn everything else, how to use Microsoft Word for their study in higher education, and after their completion of education they can be able to get their jobs.
One of the major challenges this space faces is the big spectrum of the people with vision impairment. On one end you have people with mild vision impairments, and on the other end you have people who are blind or unsighted. And in between there is a large group of people with low vision condition of varying degrees. We also see people with diverse range of needs. There are people with different educational, cultural, and social needs. And the reason Visio-Aid was founded was to address the individual specialized nature of vision rehabilitation. And that's what we focus on.
Visio-Aid works with our partners in India to offer a full range of services, from basic vision screening to early detection of visual impairments. Our programs offer low vision evaluation, training in orientation and mobility, optical and electronic assistive devices, as well as training in computer skills and soft skills that help the visually impaired lead their life with independence and dignity.
Visio-Aid Visakhapatnam is a charitable services society established for the purpose of helping the visually challenged people. In India, we are supposed to have the largest number of blind and low vision people.
Millions of people in India and in other developing countries have deficient vision and they are suffering. The mission of Visio-Aid is to help these people so that they can live a productive life. Helen Keller said that life is a good business if we are able to do something for others. So let's walk together in this journey and help our fellow beings so that we feel in our heart that we did something for our people.
Visio-Aid has a comprehensive approach for helping the visually impaired. Our model provides for a wide range of services to fully meet their unique needs. Now we are excited to introduce new programs and forge partnerships with leading eye institutions in order to expand our reach and provide complementary services together as a team.
Please join us in this noble cause. Help, support, volunteer, and donate. Thank you so much.
And now, here is the moment many of you have been waiting for, our dance presentation, the Seven Selfless Sovereigns, produced by the one and only Madurai R. Muralidharan. Many of you have been coming to Visio-Aid shows for many years. You are accustomed to seeing 60+ dancers on stage in grand Broadway-style productions with many special effects, which have made our shows unique and memorable. Amazing dance formations, brilliant costumes, backdrops, props, Muralidharan sir's amazing animation, subtitles in English, lighting, sound effects that create a magical show experience. This year, despite the pandemic, our amazing producer, Muralidharan sir, artistic directors, and over 50 amazing dancers have brought together a similar spectacular experience virtually through their creative and innovative efforts. We request you, the audience, to also bring with you today the same passion and love you have shown every year for the cause and for the dancers. Together, we will relive the magic this year also. May a bright light continue to shine on the show today. And now it gives me immense pleasure to request our artistic director and founding co-producer of Visio-Aid Dance Productions and Visio-Aid co-chair of Visio-Aid Ambassador Council, Jayanti Ghatraju, who's no stranger to Boston audiences, to introduce the Seven Selfless Sovereigns and take us right to the show. Jayanti Ghatraju, please take it away.
Namaste. Thank you, Revati, for your kind introduction. I am privileged to introduce this year's production, A Journey into History. History is not just an essential introduction to one's own ethnic heritage and ancestry. It is also a valuable tool that encourages us to develop a greater appreciation for multicultural influences within our own communities. We bring to you the Seven Selfless Sovereigns, Kadai ஏழு வள்ளல்கள், concept, choreography, and direction by Kalai Mamani Sri Madurai R. Muralidharan, who has graciously joined us from India. These are selected precious gems from the Sangam era literature, highlighting the nobility, philanthropy, and spontaneous generosity of the seven chieftains. Each episode's breathtaking storyline is intertwined to describe the different habitats, landscapes, culture, and traditions of the locals. The seven sovereigns are Pari, Began, Adiyaman, Nalli, Ai Aindiran, Kari, and Ori. The first selfless sovereign, Pari, gave up his chariot without a second thought when he saw a wild jasmine creeper entwine itself on the chariot wheel for support, thus allowing the creeper to flourish, but endangering himself. A remarkable act of generosity indeed. The second one, Began, offered his gem-studded shawl to protect a shivering peacock from exposure to cold, spontaneously. The third selfless sovereign, Adiyaman, was generous enough to offer a special longevity-producing gooseberry that was gifted to him, to Avvaya, the same poetess, instead of consuming it himself. This selfless act was motivated by his love for Tamil language and literature. He wanted her compositions to be enjoyed by future generations. The fourth one, Nalli, served the hunt of the day to those who were hungry without revealing his true identity as a king. The fifth chieftain, Ai Aindiran, donated his rare and rich dress to Lord Shiva, highlighting the importance of detachment from material wealth. The sixth sovereign, Ori, committed a part of his kingdom to artists and performers with a promise that they will never go hungry ever again. The seventh and the last one, Kari, distributed his new treasures accumulated through spoils of war to poets and the poor. Now, on to the main show. The show is approximately 2.5 hours long. We will stream the entire show right here on this Zoom webinar, and we hope all of us would stay with us for the duration of the show. But if you happen to have a poor connection and experience bandwidth issues, we are optionally making this show available on YouTube as well. The YouTube playlist will be posted in the chat shortly and will be active for the next 2 hours. If you do decide to watch the show on YouTube, please be sure to return back to this webinar for the closing ceremony at 7 p.m. Please do not share this URL publicly. This is only meant for ticket holders. Please keep an eye on the chat where we'll be posting the information for the YouTube link shortly. Now, let's enjoy the show. Thank you.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Namaskaram to Visio-Aid family. Hope you're doing fine and staying safe. I would like to welcome you all for Visio-Aid's annual dance show, The Seven Selfless Sovereigns, a dance musical conceptualized music, choreography, and directed by myself. I am very, very fortunate to be associated with Visio-Aid for the past 11 to 13 years. And my responsibility of presenting all my shows goes higher, and higher to maintain the quality standard and also fulfill the expectation of the Boston audience. To get a name and fame is very easy, but to maintain the same is not that easy. I tried my level best to present the show with the help of all the artistic directors from Boston and also all the energetic and awesome dancers who worked tirelessly for the past 4 months to make this show a grand success. And I thank Ram and Rebati for having trust on me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to work with all the dancers and the dance teachers from Boston. I hope you will surely enjoy this production, and I wish all the dancers and dance teachers for the grand success of this program. The theme of this program is about giving. Happiness doesn't result from what we get, but from what we give. My humble request to all the viewers to support Vision Aid by giving more donation and support them for their future projects. Thank you.